My time-traveling trick, taming my husband into a loyal pup. I transmigrated to the 1980s. The moment I met my mother-in-law and husband, they told me I had to shoulder all the housework. I deliberately messed everything up, asterisk sniffle, sniffle asterisk. Oh, I'm so useless, I can't do anything right. Not like you, Ethan, you're good at everything. Wow, you're amazing. Even doing laundry, it's sparkling clean. Oh my goodness, your cooking is incredibly delicious. If I could eat your cooking every day, I'd die happy. That man, Ethan, was so delighted, he willingly became an involuntary nanny. And I lived my carefree, green tea girl life, oblivious to the world. On the second day after transmigrating to the 80s, I hastily pushed myself into marriage. Now I understood why parents back then could decide their children's lifelong affairs just with a chicken or an ox. I was even more audacious. I did it just for a piece of Nang bread, frozen solid like a rock. The man who gave me the Nang bread was tall, with broad, sturdy shoulders, shielding me from the biting wind and snow on my face. I don't know what possessed me, but I blurted out to this man I'd just met, "Marry me?" He stared blankly for a long moment. His rough-hewn face at that moment looked bewildered, almost foolish. "Oh, how much dowry do you want?" I gestured with the Nang bread in my hand, mouth full of crumbs, speaking indistinctly. "Just enough food and clothes will do." The man, Ethan, led me into his truck. The space inside was cramped, but it had everything. Behind the passenger seat, there was even a half-plank of wood covered with a makeshift blanket. I curled up in the blanket, blowing on my numb, purple hands, which slowly regained their warmth. Ethan, lost in thought, sat dazed for a moment, then suddenly started unbuttoning his pants. I flinched, startled by this action, and was about to jump out of the truck and run. Only then did I realize he was unfastening a pouch sewn into the lining of his padded trousers. Then, he pulled out a piece of red cloth from the pouch. He opened it, revealing crumpled paper money. "All the betrothal money is right here." I let out a snort of laughter, taking the red cloth to count. A total of 375 yuan. I'm from Huangshan County. My father passed away early. It's just my mother, my older sister, and my younger brother at home. My sister is married, and my younger brother is in high school. As for me, he paused there. I'm a scrap metal collector, traveling around all year long. On the surface, I'm not as respectable as a factory worker or civil servant, but I earn more money. When he mentioned earning good money, his voice rose slightly, but then he snuck a glance at me, a touch of uncertainty in his demeanor. I had read transmigration novels where factory workers and civil servants were praised to the skies, while self-employed individuals were mercilessly cursed. Fearing I wouldn't believe him, he cracked his knuckles and calculated for me. A factory worker earns just over 40 yuan a month. I earn double that. If I work a bit harder, I can earn even more. Half of it goes to the family and the rest is yours. You're my wife. I won't ever treat you poorly. Half for the family, you say. I frowned. The truck drove onto a small road and stopped. "We're here. You'll meet my mother in a moment." An old woman in a padded jacket came to open the door, likely Ethan's mother, Madame Zhang. Just as I was about to greet her, I heard Madame Zhang point a finger at Ethan's face and scold loudly. "If you come back this late again, don't bother coming back at all. It's so cold, and I have to come out to open the door for you. What about your brother's rest?" "He's trying to study for the university entrance exam?" Ethan pressed his lips together, saying nothing. Madame Zhang then glanced at me. After Ethan introduced me, she merely snorted. "Well, that's good then. Get up early tomorrow morning to cook for your brother-in-law. With those scrawny hands, I wonder if you can do anything useful." With that, Madame Zhang mumbled and grumbled as she went back inside, not giving us a pleasant look the entire time. It seemed this mother-in-law-daughter-in-law relationship wouldn't be easy to manage. My mother has that kind of temper. Just be diligent and quick. Try to do everything. Just listen to whatever she says and she'll come to like you. I have to be diligent. I married you to mooch off you to find a place to laze around. But then I thought about being alone in this foreign land, where going outside would only mean starving or freezing to death. I immediately softened, smiling sweetly. "Don't worry, Ethan. I promise to take good care of your mother. Heh 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 asterisk." That night, I used the excuse of not being used to it and refused to share a bed with Ethan. He didn't force me, just told me to get up early tomorrow, clean the house, and make breakfast. I nodded, promised, and then slept straight until noon. When Ethan called me, I pouted, whining, "Ethan, please, let me sleep a little longer. I'm so sleepy." Ethan had never seen a woman act so coy before. His initially stern expression slowly softened into compromise. Aside from his ears burning crimson as if they might bleed, he gained nothing from me. It wasn't until I had slept to my heart's content that I lazily got out of bed. Ethan stood there, arms crossed, face stern. I'm back from deliveries. Oh, you're so hardworking, Ethan. Are you just going to stand there and watch me chain? Ethan quickly turned his face away. Then, as if thinking about something, he turned back with a look that suggested, "We're married, what's there not to see?" But when I took off my outer layer, revealing my white neck, he flinched as if shocked by electricity, nearly jumping back. "Ethan, could you boil some hot water for me? I want to wash my face." But there was no hot water. Instead, Madame Zhang stormed in, carrying a basin of water and splashing it directly onto me. Even the still frozen ice cubes were thrown straight at me. The piercing cold spread through my entire body, and I couldn't help but shriek. Ethan heard the noise and rushed over, but Madame Zhang grabbed him on the spot. "Look at what kind of burden you married. Whose new daughter-in-law sleeps until this hour? And demanding hot water. Do you know how much firewood it takes to boil a pot of water? You good-for-nothing girl, useless trash, spit. Oh, heaven help me, why is my fate so miserable? My son is a scrap metal collector, and he marries a lazy, good-for-nothing daughter-in-law." Ethan's expression was grim, his thick eyebrows tightly furrowed, radiating a frightening ferocity. I was sure he'd defend his mother. Before he could speak, I sniffled twice, and tears streamed down my nose and from the corners of my eyes, reddened by the cold. Anyone would say I was pathetic. This wasn't the time to argue right or wrong. The most important thing was who Ethan cared for more. I rubbed my shoulders, shivering even more dramatically, as if helpless, and weakly looked towards the person I needed most. "Ethan, I'm cold." With just that one sentence, Ethan forgot everything else. He took off his outer coat, draped it over me, then scooped me up and placed me into the blanket. "Mother, whatever it is, we can talk later. Don't let Anya catch a cold." Madame Zhang's face darkened. She threw the basin down with a clang and stormed off angrily, mumbling before she left. Such a show-off, putting on airs. I huddled in the blanket, unmoving, staring at Ethan until he became shy under my gaze. "Ethan, do you know how cool you were just now? I want that to happen again." Ethan seemed surprised I would say such a thing. His Adam's apple bobbed slightly, and he avoided my burning gaze, then stood up. "I'll go boil hot water for you." Although I too was repulsed by weak, fake, green tea girls, I truly had to admit, this trick won men over. Most men of this era were patriarchal. What they needed was a woman's boundless reliance and approval. So once a man treats you even a little well, you should praise him profusely, so he knows how much satisfaction a small act can bring him. That way, next time, he will instinctively gravitate towards doing more. The hot water was brought, steam rising. I turned my face away, pretending to wipe my eyes. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. I'm just so touched. No one has ever treated me so well before. Before I met you, I thought I'd freeze to death in the snow. Ethan, you're really too good." Ethan silently wrung out the washcloth, then reached out, cupped my face, and gently wiped away the remaining tears from the corners of my eyes. He was both domineering and strangely gentle. "Isn't it just hot water? From now on, I'll boil it for you every day. You want a hot bath? No problem. Wait until I get back tonight. Heh 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 asterisk. Done." After this incident, Madame Zhang grew even more annoyed with me. In fact, she had never liked Ethan, and that extended to me. I had already noticed their mother-son relationship was problematic, and this discovery made me overjoyed. Wouldn't it be even easier for me to drive a wedge between them? I'd wait for the right moment to add fuel to the fire and persuade Ethan to move out. "Where are you going? Dawdling like a snail?" "Yes, mother. I'm going to cook lunch for you. Please rest." Madame Zhang gave me a sideways glance. Ethan, on the other hand, nodded at me. In his eyes, I was now a forgiving wife, struggling with my weak body to show filial respect to his mother. His face was practically screaming, "My wife is so diligent, so obedient, so understanding." So, I obediently broke the vegetables and dishes, then understandingly set fire to the pile of firewood. After that, I smeared soot on my face and stumbled out of the kitchen. The moment I saw Ethan, I threw myself into his arms, hugging him tightly. This was the first time Ethan and I had embraced. Ethan's hand hovered awkwardly in midair, unsure whether to put it down. Madame Zhang's furious scolding echoed in my ears. She stormed over, intending to grab my hair. "I told you to cook, and you dared to set the kitchen on fire. I see you're just deliberately causing trouble. Besides seducing my son, what else do you know how to do?" Frightened, I clung tightly to Ethan's arm, hiding behind him. I was clearly trembling with fear, yet my face was full of remorse. "I'm sorry, it's all my fault. I can't do anything right, not like you, Ethan, you're good at everything." Ethan shielded me behind him, on one hand dodging his mother who was flailing and clawing, and on the other making sure I didn't fall. But with a slight slip, my arm was still scratched, a long bleeding gash. The pain made me gasp sharply. Almost instinctively, Ethan forcefully pushed Madame Zhang away and turned to examine my arm. "Mother, you've gone too far. Look what you've done to Anya's arm." As soon as these words left his mouth, both Ethan and Madame Zhang froze. But only a moment later, Madame Zhang flopped onto the ground and began to wail dramatically. "Indeed, he gets a wife and forgets his mother. Today he dares to push me. Tomorrow he'll want me dead, won't he? Why didn't I just drown this evil spawn in the chamber pot when he was born?" Madame Zhang cried and sniffled, occasionally scooping up handfuls of dirt from the ground and throwing them at Ethan. Ethan frowned throughout, not saying a word. It seemed this scene was not happening for the first time. I lowered my head, gently tugging at Ethan's clothes. Before I could speak, Ethan reacted, grabbing my hand and quickly leading me into the house. He wet a washcloth and carefully wiped away the dried blood from my arm, blowing softly on the wound as he did so. "Does it hurt?" "Of course it hurts so much, asterisk." I deliberately drew out the last syllable, my tone a mix of grievance and coyness. "I'm hungry too, but Mother probably won't let me in the kitchen anymore." As I spoke, I feigned a frightened expression and snuggled into his arms. Ethan's hand trembled slightly, then he suddenly stood up, creating a small distance between us. "Wait for me. I'll go make you a bowl of noodles, and I'll apologize to my mother while I'm at it." Not long after, Ethan brought a steaming bowl of noodles. At the same time, I noticed both his cheeks were red and bruised, and there were scratches on his neck. "Did your mother hit you?" "It's nothing. Hurry and eat before it gets cold." He didn't want to talk about it, so I didn't press him further. I took the bowl and chopsticks and focused on eating the noodles. There wasn't enough water, they were sticky and a bit dry and hard. Too much salt, and there were even grit in the vegetables, they probably hadn't been washed properly. Country folks are country folks indeed, it seems they still need a good makeover. But this was Ethan's first time cooking for me, and I couldn't discourage his enthusiasm and initiative. Under his expectant gaze, I swallowed the last bite, closing my eyes as if savoring the lingering taste on my tongue. "It's so delicious. How do you know how to cook, Ethan? You're definitely not like those other men who only know how to eat." Ethan shyly scratched his head. "Oh, it's nothing, just threw something together." I feigned surprise, covering my mouth. "My goodness. You threw something together, and it's this delicious. Ethan, you're amazing. If I could eat such delicious food every day, that would be wonderful." Perhaps my adoring gaze was too intense as Ethan turned his face away, only showing a red ear. His voice was so awkward as if he'd bitten his tongue, saying, "If you like it, I'll cook it for you again next time." Then he took a boiled egg from his pocket and handed it to me. "Eat this egg for nourishment. Don't take what my mother said to heart. She has that kind of temper, just bear with it a little." As I peeled the egg, I nodded indifferently until he said, "Tomorrow you'll go to the fields with my mother." I almost choked on the egg in my mouth. "Your family has fields to cultivate too?" "Yes, why?" "It's nothing. I just think you're really amazing, Ethan. One problem solved, and another one crops up. My life of lazing around is still long and arduous." Early the next morning, after giving instructions about the fieldwork, Ethan left to collect scrap metal. The moment he was gone, Madame Zhang stormed in, slamming her foot against my bedroom door. "Still trying to play lazy? Let me tell you, washing clothes, cooking, and serving your in-laws are a woman's duties. This morning, I already saw you're not sensible. If you keep being disobedient, my son will kick you out sooner or later, just watch." She threw a hoe at me and led me to the fields. On the way, she endlessly chattered and nagged, spouting clichés like, "Men build houses, women build homes," and "Women are born to toil like oxen and horses." Although in the 80s and even the 21st century, everyone assumed housework was women's work, I couldn't help but sneak a glance. Who said women were born knowing how to do housework? Didn't they all learn it gradually? If women can learn, why can't men? "Just watch me. I'll turn around and teach Ethan how to wash clothes, cook, and serve his wife." "What are you dazing about? Are you too wrong to go to the fields?" "No, not wronged at all. Not wronged at all." Fieldwork in winter primarily involved leveling the land, flattening each terraced field on the hillside so that the outside was higher than the inside, then breaking up rocks in the fields and removing them, and finally, filling the land to make it even. I don't know if Madame Zhang did it on purpose, but rock fragments kept flying towards me. Though small, these rocks were sharp after breaking, and they stung when they hit me. I wanted to move a little to the side, but Madame Zhang threw down her hoe, put her hands on her hips, and scolded me, accusing me of trying to shirk work, egging on the other peasant women nearby to chime in. But Madame Zhang still didn't let up. She banged on the door and yelled, ordering me to get up and cook. After cooking, I had to pickle vegetables with her. After pickling vegetables, I had to husk corn. She truly didn't want me to rest for a single second. I pulled the blanket tightly over my head, not wanting to move, occasionally replying, "Yes, I'm coming right out." Soon, there was no more commotion outside. I assumed Madame Zhang had given up, but a moment later, Ethan's voice came from outside. I immediately pinched my face to make it red, feigning weakness as I called out, "Ethan." "Is that you, Ethan, back?" Ethan's expression was grim. Madame Zhang stood beside him, arms crossed, looking as if she were waiting for a good show. I immediately guessed she had already gone to complain to her son about me. I quickly cleared my throat a few times, pretending to try and sit up but then weakly falling back. Sure enough, Ethan's ashen face instantly turned anxious. "What's wrong? Your face is all red. Are you not feeling well?" I coughed a few more times, placing my hand on my forehead, trying to open my eyes with a tired expression. "It's nothing. I probably just got cold working in the fields. I'll rest a bit and then get up to cook for Mother." I was overacting, my voice hoarse. "It's my fault. You work so hard, and when you come home, there's no hot food to eat." My 2 sentences seemed to tear Ethan's heart to shreds. He looked at me with a face full of self-reproach. He had completely forgotten that first day we met, playing in the snow, and I had chased his truck for nearly a kilometer. "I shouldn't have. Just rest, Anya. You must be hungry, right? I'll go cook." He quickly stood up, intending to go to the kitchen, but Madame Zhang grabbed him tightly. "I see this girl is faking it. I'm going to beat this cursed woman to death today." Ethan forcefully pushed Madame Zhang's hand away, his eyes showing clear impatience. "Mother, can you stop targeting Anya? She's so delicate, how can she endure your torment?" Madame Zhang had never been treated this way by her son. She was about to plop onto the ground and throw a tantrum again. "Stand up," Ethan roared. "Don't pull that trick again, Mother. You're not tired of acting, but I'm tired of watching. If you keep making a scene, don't expect a single penny of your allowance this month." Hearing this, Madame Zhang spat on the ground and flung back, "I was truly cursed to give birth to an animal like you." Then she stormed off, the wooden door creaking as she slammed it shut. Ethan's tightly clenched hand suddenly relaxed, and his tense expression eased, revealing clear fatigue. I cautiously stepped forward and took his hand. "Why did you come down here? Go lie down quickly before you catch a cold." He pulled me towards the bed, then moved the charcoal stove into the room. I curled up in the warm blanket, so comfortable I wanted to squeal, but not forgetting to occasionally cough. Dinner was corn mush with meat soup made by Ethan. It wasn't great, but it was passable. I still shamelessly praised it profusely, finally making Ethan beam. Late at night, Ethan slowly slipped into my blanket. I stiffened, not daring to move. It seemed I couldn't avoid it this time. After all, it was my first time, and I was so nervous I forgot to breathe. But Ethan did nothing. In the quiet night, only the sound of 2 heartbeats remained. It wasn't until Ethan spoke, "Don't be scared. If you don't want to, I won't touch you. I'm just afraid you'll be cold lying alone with the blanket not warm enough." I buried my face in the blanket, my voice as small as a mosquito's buzz, but loud enough for both of us to hear. I agree." Ethan's body trembled slightly, his breathing suddenly growing heavier. Then he turned and wrapped his arms tightly around me, his hot palms sliding over my skin. I closed my eyes, preparing to accept everything, but suddenly a warm liquid flowed out. Oh heavens, what terrible timing. I pushed Ethan away, my face flushed with embarrassment. He obviously felt it too and quickly sat up, lit a candle, and stammered, Go find some cloth for you." After I had cleaned myself up, I turned my back to him, not daring to speak, feeling my face burn like fire. Just as I was about to fall asleep, his strong arms wrapped around me again, and his calloused hand gently rubbed my lower abdomen. When I woke up, Ethan had already left for work. On the washstand, a basin of warm water was ready. The bedsheets and soiled clothes from last night had been washed clean and were hanging in the yard. Not bad, not bad. When Ethan comes back, I definitely have to praise him. Madame Zhang was doing something outside, clanking pots and pans loudly, as if afraid I wouldn't hear her, her mouth constantly mumbling curses at me. I acted as if nothing was wrong, washed my face, and dressed neatly. In the kitchen, there was indeed no portion of food for me. Luckily, there was still some corn mush left over from last night. I reheated it, and that served as breakfast. Ethan's family lived on the outskirts of the county town, at the head of the village. Not only did they have to farm according to assignment, but they also had to join a team for irrigation work, digging ditches. Today was the day for irrigation work. It had snowed last night, and the roads were icy. One slip, and you could fall. Fearing a fall, I hugged the shovel tightly, inching forward with small steps. The wind was strong today. The women were all wrapped in cotton scarves covering their heads. Their faces, weathered by wind and frost, were red and coarse. Though clearly around my age, they looked a decade older. I subconsciously touched my own face. It was a bit dry. I'd have to tell Ethan to buy me some moisturizer. Is this Ethan's new daughter-in-law? A dark, thin, wrinkled face approached, baring yellowed teeth and grinning at me. So fresh and tender. No wonder that Ethan, who used to not come home for 10 days or half a month, is now practically glued to the house every day. The tall man next to him also smirked, his triangular, upturned eyes glancing at me from head to toe. Ethan is truly blessed. He gets to hug his wife and sleep warm every night. A few scattered men on the road heard this and covertly glanced my way. I felt disgusted by these two men. This wasn't the first time I'd seen them. Yesterday, while working in the fields, I had seen them peeking at me from behind. I had intended to ignore them and walk past, but then a thought struck me. Perhaps I could use this opportunity to get out of fieldwork and irrigation duty. Sure enough, when Madame Zhang saw me laughing and talking happily with other men, she couldn't take it anymore. She swung her iron shovel, intending to hit me straight on. You shameless hussy. Stripping off your clothes right in the middle of the road and mark it. I'll beat a shameless hussy like you to death. While everyone was scrambling to intervene, she still managed to give me a resounding slap across the face. I was knocked to the ground, clutching my face, then cried and scrambled to my feet, running home. Crying and running, I suddenly started laughing. No one was home. It was truly my domain. What's a single slap? Real irrigation work is soul-crushing. I'd rather die. I pulled out the box of biscuits Madame Zhang had hidden and began to munch on them dramatically. Usually, Madame Zhang watched me like a prisoner, afraid I'd eat a single grain of her family's rice. Now was my time for revenge. Biscuits from the 80s didn't have as many industrial flavors and additives as today's. They were crispy when bitten and melted in the mouth. I ate several in one go. Since I arrived here, I hadn't eaten anything this delicious. This biscuit truly captivated me. Just as the front door was pushed open, I swallowed the last biscuit. I looked up. It wasn't Ethan nor Madame Zhang, but a stranger. The man looked about 16 or 17 with a scholarly appearance. This must be Ethan's younger brother, Leon. I thought to myself, no wonder Madame Zhang got up early and put on makeup today. Her precious darling was home. I was about to greet him, but he merely gave me a cold glance, then glanced at the box of biscuits in my hand. His eyes held an arrogant look. You're my brother's wife, I nodded. Then hurry up and cook for me, I'm hungry. Why? I put the biscuit box away, brushing crumbs from my hands. Leon choked but quickly reacted, saying grandly, do you even need to ask why? You're a woman. If women don't cook, who will? Oh, this kid is a carbon copy of that old Madame Zhang. I'm not cooking. Die of hunger, then. Go on, go tell on me. Your mother already hit me. This is what I deserve. Leon snorted. No wonder my mother hit you. You deserve it? This brat. My anger flared, but Leon just slammed the door shut, leaving behind a command. When you're done cooking, bring it in here. Don't disturb my studies. I, Anya, have always been stubborn. The more you tell me not to do something, the more I want to do it. This trait would only cause trouble in society later, so why not let me cause some trouble for him now? Ignoring Leon's objections, I carried a radio into his room, turned the volume up all the way, and even sang along. Leon grew increasingly impatient but pretended to be aloof, ignoring me. However, the messy draft papers scattered on the floor betrayed that his composure was on the verge of crumbling. I casually picked up a sheet. It was a math problem asking to find the vertex coordinates and graph of a parabola. Not bad. The problems from this era have some difficulty. Do you even understand this? Leon scoffed, looking at me. I pulled up a chair and sat next to him, propping my chin on my hand, looking at him. Little brother, do you really think women only know how to wash clothes and cook? Leon frowned. Isn't that the truth? I snatched the pen and paper from him and began to solve the problem. Leon's expression slowly shifted from initial disdain to utter astonishment. After I finished writing, Leon flipped through another sheet of paper with the standard answer. He found that not only had I solved it correctly, but my solution process was even more concise and clear than the standard answer. I brushed my hair back and let out a long yawn, looking bored. Seriously, you can't even do something this simple? Leon's face instantly flushed crimson. That's because you were bothering me. Otherwise, I would have finished long ago. All right then, I won't bother you anymore. You can continue. Leon was clearly subdued by me. For the rest of the time, he no longer had his previous arrogant attitude but focused seriously on the exam paper. No, this one should be incorrect. Did your gym teacher teach you math? Watch me do it. Is that English? Tusk tusk. I can write better with my feet than you can. By the time I finished the last question, the sun had set. Leon's way of addressing me had changed from then on to, sister, sister. You're really my own sister. You're amazing. To get me to teach him English and correct his pronunciation, he even massaged my shoulders and back, poured tea, brought water, and even took out the jar of candy his mother had hidden away from me. Sister, I was wrong before. I was too narrow-minded. I'm sorry, sister. Good boy, little brother. Wait, Ethan must be coming back soon. I immediately jumped up from the chair and started sweeping the floor and wiping the table. When Ethan walked in with meat, I was washing a rag, my hands red from the icy water. Ethan came forward, dried my hands, blew on them a few times, and then tucked them into his coat pocket. You're still sick, leave it, I'll do it. I giggled. Did you wash the bedsheets and clothes too? They're so clean like new. Ethan, how are you good at everything? Ethan proudly squeezed my hand with an expression that said, next time I can wash them even cleaner. He held up the piece of meat in his hand. I got paid today and picked up some meat. Don't you like eating meat the most? Wow, that's a big piece. Do you know how to cook it? Ethan immediately rolled up his sleeves, ready to show off his skills. Of course I know. What do you want to eat? Cough, cough, brother, Leon interrupted Ethan. Leon, you're back on winter break. Why didn't you say anything earlier so I could pick you up? This is my sister-in-law. I've already met her, Leon grumbled, seemingly resentful that his brother had interrupted his English lesson with me. Madame Zhang also returned. As soon as she walked in, she threw her shovel to the ground, her face looking as if she had swallowed a dozen demons. You wouldn't believe it, this woman. All right, mother, Leon just got back. Please don't make such a fuss for my sake. I have to speak. If I don't, our Lee family will be drowned in gossip. You might even be cuckolded without knowing it. She embellished today's events, telling the story with so much exaggeration it sounded as if I would abandon Ethan tonight and run off with those two men. Ethan's face grew increasingly grim. When he wasn't smiling, his sharp eyes were colder than the biting winter wind. His grip on my hand grew tighter and tighter until my bones ached. Without a word, he pulled me into the room. He pushed me hard, and I fell onto the bed, my head hitting the wall with a heavy thud. He truly used force. All the excuses I had prepared in my mind got tangled like threads, impossible to untangle. Only one thought remained in my head: he wouldn't hit women, would he? I heard that hitting women wasn't uncommon here. I was so pathetic. Beaten by my mother-in-law in the morning and by my husband at night. Frightened, tears automatically welled up, finally breaking like a dam, impossible to stop. Madame Zhang thought I was really being beaten and stood outside the window, yelling, "Beat her to death." Beat her to death? Leon anxiously pounded on the door, telling his brother to calm down. I curled into a ball, trembling, looking at him. If you dare to hit me, I'll divorce you. What did you say? Ethan grew even angrier. He grabbed my arm, wanting to pull me up. It hurt so much I stopped pretending. I incessantly kicked him, my mouth wailing for a divorce. Say that again, I dare you. Ethan raised his arm, veins bulging. The moment I closed my eyes, he punched the wall. Houses back then were built of mud and straw. Those with better conditions reinforced them with a few wooden planks for stability. Clearly, those planks couldn't withstand Ethan's punch. A large hole was punched through the wall. I was so scared I couldn't even cry anymore, just staring blankly at Ethan. Let me tell you, unless I die, don't even think about divorce. Do you want to abandon me and run off with someone else? Is that it? As he spoke, his eyes reddened with emotion. He violently ripped off the cloth bag he was wearing. Its contents spilled all over the floor. A jar of face cream, a red scarf, a cookbook he found from who knows where, and 2 rolling jars of moisturizer. Here, these are all for you. I bravely tried to take his hand, but he avoided me. Don't touch me. He turned away, not looking at me, his fists clenched so tight they bled, a sight that sent shivers down one's spine. All right, your hand is bleeding. Does it hurt, Ethan? Let me explain. It hurts, I don't want to hear it. My mother and the neighbors all saw it. Please let me explain. I don't want to hear it. He still wouldn't look at me, but I knew his anger had subsided. I deliberately played a trick, pretending to want to leave. So I won't explain then. Tell me. He pulled me back forcefully. His strength was still great, but much gentler than before. Those 2 men did talk to me, but I didn't pay any attention to them. It's just that your mother walked so fast and didn't care about me at all. The road was slippery. Even if I wanted to run, I couldn't. I'm just a lone girl, what could I do? It's all your fault, Ethan. If you didn't run out every day, no one would dare to be so bold. I sniffled. Who would have thought that your mother would repeat it so much that it became distorted? Being falsely accused like that, I don't even want to live anymore. Your mother slapped me without a word, didn't she? What? Do you want to hit me too? I mimicked his posture, turning my face away, pretending to ignore him. After a long silence, his calloused hand took my shoulder. My mother hit you? Yes. Does it hurt? It's my fault. It's all my fault. I was too impatient just now. Why don't you hit me back? He took my hand and placed it on his body, patting it. I secretly squeezed him hard, making him wince. After some playful teasing, he suddenly became serious. We'll never talk about divorce again. When you say that, my heart aches. Do you ache as much as I do? My forehead hurts, my wrist hurts, my leg hurts, and my face hurts too, but most importantly, you scared me. I took Ethan's hand and placed it on my chest. Feel this. You made my heart skip a few beats. You're so fierce, you want me dead. Ethan still tried to justify himself. I wasn't fierce with you, I was just angry. What man could stay calm hearing those words? See. You're being fierce with me again? I pouted, looking extremely wronged, my eyes welling up with tears ready to overflow. Ethan quickly softened his voice. He almost didn't dare to move too much, mimicking my gentle tone, speaking so softly it was like pouring honey into my ears. All right, is that all right? Don't cry. I'll go make you something delicious to eat, okay? This meal was particularly lavish. Ethan frantically piled meat onto my plate. Madame Zhang was so angry her nostrils flared. She slammed her chopsticks on the table in frustration. It's outrageous. I haven't even had a few bites and it's all gone into your stomach. And my biscuits too, did you eat them all? Ethan continued to calmly put food on my plate. On the contrary, Leon spoke up. I ate all the biscuits, Mother. If I didn't, they'd get stale. Mother, if you're not hungry, go upstairs and rest. Don't cause trouble for no reason. The darling baby had spoken. No matter how unpleasant it was, Madame Zhang had to bear it. She just moved a few dishes of meat and vegetables closer to herself and Leon. But Leon quietly moved them back to their original spots. You have such a good younger brother, just like you. A single compliment for both of them. I was truly good at this. Mother, Ethan almost beat me to death just now, and you were happy about it, but now you're angry. Changing your mood like this is not good for your health. Madame Zhang gritted her teeth, finally choosing to swallow her anger. She stood up and picked up a piece of meat for Ethan, rarely treating him kindly. Second son, have you gotten paid yet? How much? Buy Leon a bicycle. I see all the county kids have one. Mother, I don't need a bicycle. Madame Zhang glared at him and continued, send some more to your sister. She works hard over there too. I'm old, I don't need anything. I saw Auntie Chen's son, our neighbor, buy her so many beautiful new clothes. Ethan put his bowl down. It's true, we should buy some new clothes. Anya, tomorrow I'll take you to the county to pick out a few outfits. Madame Zhang slammed the table again. Second son, what do you mean by that? Ethan asked me. Are you full yet? If you're full, go inside and rest. You shouldn't touch cold water these days. Just leave the dishes, I'll wash them. After settling me, he turned to Madame Zhang. Mother, from now on, I won't give you my entire salary anymore. I've started a family, and there are many places where money is needed. From now on, I'll give you 10 yuan a month for your living expenses. Madame Zhang overturned the table. Dishes shattered all over the floor. Well, no need to wash dishes now. Ethan could come home earlier to warm my blanket. I was so happy I almost burst out laughing. I had to try my best to hold it in. Ethan, I think you want to infuriate me to death, don't you? Do you know how hard it was to raise you? You ungrateful dog, you heartless wretch, you scoundrel, I'm so miserable. She continued to wail, sniffling and wiping her nose on the ground, cursing Ethan for being heartless, and cursing me for being a jinx that would ruin their whole family. Unfortunately, no one paid her any mind. Leon shook his head and went back to his room to do his homework. Ethan pulled my hand, not looking back, and went straight into the room. I'm going to set up my own business outside. Once the scrap metal collection station is built, I'll take you to move to the county. I was momentarily stunned. My plan to drive a wedge between them hadn't even been executed, and they had already fallen apart on their own. These past few years, I've been deceiving myself, but I can't keep doing it forever. Mother loves my sister, and she loves my brother, but she doesn't love me. Whatever I do, it's useless. In this kind of family with 3 children, the second child is often the least loved. My father passed away early. Without a man to shoulder the burden, our family would have mostly fallen apart. My older sister is a girl, and my younger brother is still small, so only I could step up and take on the responsibility. I only finished primary school. My mother didn't let me continue studying. At 13, I had to follow the adults out to earn a living. But no matter how hard I tried, what good was it? My mother thought it was just what I should do. He reached up and wiped his face. His usual stern exterior, under the candlelight, revealed a hint of loneliness. I couldn't help but pat his back to comfort him, then hugged him. A flash of inspiration suddenly struck me, and sweet words flowed freely. "Ethan, your mother doesn't love you, but I do. I'll love you my whole life." This sentence seemed to touch the deepest part of Ethan's heart. He held me tightly for a very long time, unwilling to let go. Ethan no longer let me go to the fields with Madame Zhang. According to him, he was afraid his beautiful wife would be ogled by others. I was overjoyed, but still had to feign regret at not being able to contribute to the village's production. "I feel guilty, Ethan. What do you think people will say about me?" "Anya, having the thought is enough. Leave everything else to me." As for those two men, I don't know what Ethan did to them, but they avoided me on the road after that incident. After that night's events, Madame Zhang finally recognized Ethan's position in the family. She no longer ordered him around as before. As for me, out of sight, out of mind. My daily life consisted of lazing at home by the stove, waiting for Ethan to come back from delivering goods, washing my clothes, and cooking for me. He would occasionally bring back some unusual snacks for me, secretly telling me that these were just for me. His mother and brother wouldn't get any. I was incredibly happy. When eating the snacks, I even deliberately crunched loudly outside Madame Zhang's room. Near the Lunar New Year, many guests came to visit. Being newly married, I received quite a few red envelopes. Every night before bed, I had to count them, and I slept better than before. Ethan was busy helping people slaughter pigs, and he proudly told me that he had saved all the trotters. He would stew them for me after all the guests left. A moment later, he somehow found a handful of candies and quickly stuffed them into my pocket. But having many guests also had its inconveniences, especially when several gossips gathered together. "Oh my, I heard that Anya never cooks. She probably doesn't even know how to light a fire. She's just a pretty face. What kind of girl doesn't know how to cook? It's dreadful, truly dreadful. Ethan will kick her out sooner or later, just watch." Marrying a lazy wife is truly one disaster after another. Madame Zhang stood nearby, her eyes darting around. It was clear at a glance that she was fueling the gossip. I didn't say anything on the surface, but that night, back in our room, my eyes welled up. "Ethan, maybe I should cook tomorrow." I bit my lip, my eyes glistening with tears, on the verge of crying, as if filled with countless grievances but only daring to swallow them. Ethan lovingly hugged me, soothing me for a long time before I finally recounted everything I had heard that day. Of course, I added a bit of spice to the story. After finishing, I gently shook Ethan's arm, telling him not to get angry with our relatives. "You can't blame them, it's all my fault. If only I knew how to cook, it would save you so much trouble." How could Ethan not be angry? The next day, he took out the blood-stained pig-slaughtering knife and slammed it on the dining table. Melon seeds and pumpkin seeds scattered all over the floor, but no one dared to pick them up. "Is everyone enjoying their meal? If you're not full yet, Ethan, will fill you up. But don't be idle with your mouths and spew out dirty nonsense. My wife is very clean. And furthermore, a wife is not for ordering around, washing clothes, and cooking, but for loving and pampering. Some people are so brazen they want to lecture others. Just a few words, that's all." "I'm older, why can't I say anything?" Ethan sneered. "You're not allowed to talk about my wife. No one is allowed to talk about her." I truly wanted to applaud Ethan. When he returned to the kitchen, I wrapped my arms around his head and planted a big kiss on him. "Ethan, you were so cool. Will you stew meat for me to eat? I'll eat first, and then you can bring the leftovers out for them." After the new year, Ethan told me that the scrap metal collection station had been built. He would go find a house first and buy some furniture. He would probably be back in 2 or 3 days. "Can you be home alone? If you don't want to wash clothes, just leave them. I'll take care of them when I get back. I bought you some biscuits and snacks. Remember to eat if you get hungry." My eyes were heavy with sleep, and I was completely covered by the blanket, casually replying to him. Ethan sighed and sat by the bed for a long time before leaving. He had no idea that a shadow was outside the window, and after he left, it silently stood before my door. I was half asleep, vaguely feeling someone touching my hand. I thought it was Ethan who had returned, but when I felt the thin, bony hand, it wasn't Ethan's. I startled and sat bolt upright. In front of me was the man who had harassed me during the irrigation work the last time. His name was Carl. He lived up to his name. His face was pockmarked, dark, and scrawny. He was notorious in the village for beating his wife. 3 wives had already run away from him. He rubbed his hands together, approaching me with a snicker. "Finally, I got my chance. No matter how capable Ethan is, his wife is still mine to sleep with, isn't she?" I tried to keep calm. The front door was locked from the inside. He couldn't have gotten in unless someone opened it for him. Did Ethan's mother tell you to come? What did she offer you? I hastily pulled on a padded jacket, speaking to keep him from acting rashly while trying to maintain distance. Offer? Sleeping with his wife is the offer. That brat even dared to find people to beat me up. Watch me, today I'll make you die along with your wife, he said, about to rush towards me. I clung tightly to the table leg, refusing to let go, constantly kicking him with my feet. But no matter how scrawny he was still a man. How could I be his match? My room was closest to Madame Zhang's room. I didn't believe she didn't hear anything, but no matter how I cried and begged, there was no sound from outside. My heart sank into the abyss. Don't be scared, Ethan doesn't need you anymore. I'll marry you and love you properly. Wait, don't you want to take revenge on Ethan? I gathered all my strength and kicked Carl's hand away, diving under the table. I have a better idea. Carl looked interested. Oh, tell me. Don't you hate Ethan? I told him, Ethan and I haven't been married long, our feelings aren't deep. If you touch me, Ethan might just feel disgraced and that would be the end of it. But if you touch Ethan's mother, that might be a different story, wouldn't it? I didn't care anymore. Madame Zhang, if you sold me out, don't blame me for selling you out. Think about it. If you marry Ethan's mother, Ethan would have to call you father. Wouldn't that be better? If you like, you can beat her and scold her. A father disciplining his child is natural. I rambled on, and Carl was clearly convinced. He stroked his chin, looking thoughtful. Ethan calling me father? This is a good idea, I quickly added. Ethan also has money. If you become his father, he'll have to show you filial respect every day, buy you wine and tobacco. You sly devil. I breathed a sigh of relief, my limbs suddenly weak. Carl told me that Madame Zhang was right outside the door, just waiting for things to happen so she could call the neighbors to expose my misdeeds. I stealthily hid behind the door. Carl called out to Madame Zhang, "Hurry up and help me, mother. This woman is too stubborn. I can't do anything with her." Madame Zhang cursed as she pushed the door open and stepped in. I took the opportunity to slip through the gap in the door, run outside, and latch the bolt. Madame Zhang's frantic cries came from inside the room. "Ah, Carl, this old woman is 5 years older than you. Are you crazy?" What happened after that, I didn't care. I quickly followed Madame Zhang's plan and ran everywhere, yelling, "Where is everyone? Someone save my mother?" The villagers, who loved to gossip, soon filled the yard. I secretly unlatched the door. Someone, seeing an injustice, rushed forward and kicked the door open. That kick caused everyone outside, from the 80-year-old grandmother to the 8-year-old boy, to simultaneously cover their eyes, murmuring and gossiping. "Ethan's wife, you really are shameless. How could you let everyone see something like this?" I suppressed my laughter until I almost had internal injuries, doing my best to look as heartbroken as possible. Didn't I just think my mother was being bullied? 3 days later, Madame Zhang got married. Ethan also happened to return just in time. When did this happen? How did mother end up with Carl? Ethan didn't understand but respected his mother's decision. Don't worry about it anymore. After the rain, it must clear. If mother marries, she must follow her husband. Mother can't be with you forever. Only I can be with you forever, understand? Ethan held my hand and nodded. Anya, having you is my blessing. After the wedding feast, I complained that the house had been slept in by someone else and urged Ethan to take me to the county. Madame Zhang didn't come to see us off. Carl, being a very controlling husband, didn't let her leave. I couldn't help but sigh, "Mother, you finally fulfilled your duty as a wife. All day long, besides washing, you'll be cleaning." I heard Carl likes to eat small portions but many meals. He needs 5 meals a day. Mother, you're truly too happy. Not like me, who just eats and sleeps. These leisurely, boring days truly have no meaning. Ethan's scrap metal collection station grew larger and larger. To spend more time with me, he hired more workers to help him transport scrap metal. As the boss's wife at the collection station, every worker who met me complimented Ethan and me on our affectionate relationship. Love. A little, but not much. I loved myself more. Ethan, everyone says we're affectionate, but you've never said whether you love me or not. Ethan wrung out the clothes he was washing, seriously replying, "I'm a country man. I don't understand these matters of love. I only know that since you married me, I must cherish you my whole life. That's all."